Hi, I'm Joel. I'm on the beautiful island of Barbados in the Caribbean. It's quite warm. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I'm 8 years and 10 days into my running streak now. Time to do my usual 5K. It's going to be a fairly special one today. Come on, let's go. Today I'm running with Alyson Allen.
Nice to meet you.
Now, Alyson has done a bit of running before, and when I say before, I mean before this. How many miles have you run this morning?
About 21 and a half.
Alyson's 21 and a half miles into a run at the start of our run. That's unbelievable. And how many miles do you run a week generally?
When I'm training, between 140 and 160, I guess.
140 and 160 miles a week. That just blows my mind. And obviously the purpose of this is because you're into ultra marathons and you were the first female finisher at Badwater.
Yeah,
that's
that
incredible.
Was in 2016, yeah. That's
the toughest foot race in the world.
So they say.
And for anybody who doesn't know, and you should really Google it, it's 135 miles through the, is it the
Death Valley?
Death Valley.
Yeah.
Going from minus 200 feet to the top of Mount Whitney.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable. That's an incredible race.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I believe, although I can scarcely bring myself to, that you averaged about 8.5 minute mile pace.
No, I think it was slower than that. I can't remember, to be honest. It was just under 26 hours, I bet.
That's incredible. I have so many questions. So how did you find yourself living out here?
My husband's job, I guess, is the short answer. We met, we're doing our doctorates at the University of Miami. And afterwards, he did a postdoc at Columbia University in New York. But the project they were working on was based in the Caribbean. So after 1 year in New York, we had sort of had it. But his project wanted to keep him and he wanted to stay. So they arranged it that he could work out of an office here.
All right.
There's a regional institute here.
So. Is he an academic too?
Yeah, he studies meteorology.
Meteorology?
Yeah.
Wow. So. And is he a runner as well?
A cyclist and a surfer.
Right.
So we have to get home in time for him to be able to paddle out today because there's a north swell coming, if you can see the lines coming.
Wow.
In. Yeah.
That's a beautiful view.
Yeah.
Nice run. Oh. So how did you get started? How did your running, have you always been a runner?
Yeah, so I ran in high school, I ran in college.
What sort of distance?
Mile. Cross country was always 5K.
Right.
I did a couple 3Ks in college. I wasn't bad, I wasn't good. I was just sort of an average, middle of the pack runner.
Right.
And then sort of after college, I just never really knew how to stop running. And right after college, I joined a program called the Peace Corps.
Yep.
So I was stationed out in Fiji. And I would just go for runs in the morning. It was nice to sort of have that consistency in my day. And that's actually where I ran my first marathon.
And that was just a standard marathon?
Just a standard marathon, yeah. Up until about 2012, I only really did maybe one marathon a year. I wasn't much of a racer.
Right.
I just really enjoyed running.
And so, to go from there to the Badwater seems a hell of a jump. And you've had a child and you've got a full-time job.
Well, it's part-time. I'm only teaching part-time this semester.
Well, you put the rest of us to shame. I think, to think that we're running 3 miles today and you've already run 22 now. Oh, it's a monkey.
Oh yeah, lots of those over here.
Yeah, so how did you make the leap to longer distances?
Let's see, so in Miami I started bumping up my mileage. I think I was using running as a way to kind of cope with stress at work and stuff. And I was having a couple tough semesters there at school. So I started running some pretty high mileage, but I honestly had never heard of ultra running before until I went in to buy a pair of shoes.
Right.
And I told the woman that I needed something heavy that would handle you know, at that point I was running like 150, 200 miles a week.
Wow.
So.
And that was, you weren't even training for anything, you were just running?
I was just running.
Holy cow.
So she said, well, with mileage like that, you should run the Keys 100. I said, what's that? She said, oh, it's a 50-mile race down in the Florida Keys. I was like, well, if it's a 50-mile race, why do they call it the Keys 100?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Well, so there's a 100 component too. And at that point, I'd been doing 40-mile long runs. So I figured, just try the 100. And it was an epic fail. I died.
Really?
Oh God, after like mile 60. I was passed out on the side of the road. It was horrible. But I learned a lot. And I went back the next year. And I finished. I was second overall, first female. And that was sort of the beginning.
And how many ultras have you done since that time?
Honestly, don't know. Not very many, to be honest.
Yeah, because
I only race a handful of times a year.
Right.
You know, for me, racing takes a lot in terms of, you know, mental preparation, physical preparation. So if I race too frequently, it's just burnout.
So tell me about your average training week. Like, what time did you get up this morning?
Well, my daughter woke up at 3 o'clock because she had to use the potty. So I took her to the bathroom. And she went. And then...
And she's 19 months old.
19 months old, yeah. For potty training. So, yeah, so I just got left after that. I was going to get up at 3:15 anyways. So.
And that's a fairly... How many days a week would that be?
That's pretty standard. I was kind of lucky over Christmas. My husband not going into the office. I could sleep in, get up at about 6 when she does, and go for my run after breakfast, kind of.
So would you, on an average day when I'm doing my paltry 3 miles, you do around 20?
Yeah, I'd say, give or take. I tend to do one long run on the weekend.
What's long?
I max out around 50, 55.
What? Just for a training run?
Yeah.
How long would that take?
About 8 hours. It depends, you know, running here can be a lot slower because of the hills.
Oh yeah.
As you might find out.
Yes, we're finding out right now.
So, we live in a very hilly side of the island.
Sure.
So, it's sort of hard to keep a fast pace.
Yeah. And do you run in the evenings as well? Do you split your training?
I used to, till I had a baby. Now I don't.
Well, that was quite a little leg burner.
We're getting there.
So, do you focus heavily on what you eat? As well as your distance?
I mean, I try and eat healthy, you know. I think if I expect a lot out of my body, I need to put good things into it.
Sure.
And also, I mean, my daughter's eating dinner with us these days, and half the time she ends up eating out of my bowl anyway, so I want to make sure I'm eating foods I want to, that it's okay for her to eat, you know? Trying to set a good example and all that. So, yeah, I follow mostly a vegan diet, but I do enjoy seafood, fish sometimes.
Right.
We get good fish here.
Of course. And fruit and veg and stuff.
We actually just picked a bunch of bananas off our tree yesterday if you want one after our run.
Oh, that's amazing. So how do the locals find this crazy American woman running all the time?
Yeah, crazy. I mean...
Are they used to you yet?
Yeah, we've lived here for 3 years now. So, yeah, people are used to me running, but it was a little awkward when I was pregnant and still running.
Yeah,
I get some dirty looks.
I read an article about that.
Yeah.
Up until what point did you?
I ran the day before she was born.
Really?
Yeah.
And what sort of mileage?
At that point, I was doing about 6 a day.
Right.
Very slowly. Very slowly. But it felt good to run, so.
And how quickly after she was born were you back?
About a week, I'd say. But again, really low mileage. And I did have a couple of problems postpartum.
Right.
Getting back into running again. So it was definitely a good learning experience. But.
Oh, bit of downhill to look forward to on the way back. That was quite steep.
There's one more steep section and then it'll be downhill.
So I was going to ask.
Yeah.
On a ultra morning, how much of the course are you running, and how much are you walking? Because anecdotally, you walk up the hills and run the flats. Do you run the whole thing?
I run the whole thing. Yeah, everyone's got their strategy, so there's no right way or wrong way to do it.
But Badwater is uphill all the way, isn't it?
No, there's 3 climbs. Yeah, there's 3 climbs, and I definitely walk. So the last 14 miles of that race is a climb, and I'd say I shuffled that 14 miles. It wasn't much of a run, but you know, everyone has their strategies. For me, it's the hardest part about running is getting going.
Yes.
So if I stop, then I got to start again. So I just try and keep going.
And that includes rest breaks and eating and stuff? You
Yes.
try and eat on the move?
I try and eat on the move. You know, I don't. Go ahead. Sorry. I told you there'd be no cars, and there was. You know, I do goos and those cliff chews.
Yeah.
I get, you know, liquid calories with, I like coconut water or ginger ale. But I don't honestly eat a lot of solid foods when I run. A lot of the races I run, like Badwater, are really hot races.
Right.
And I find it harder to eat when it's really hot out.
Well, presumably your training here helps because it's always hot here.
Yeah, it is. This actually feels great. Come in May, it's brutal.
Yeah, I understand that. My wife used to live here. She was telling me it's pretty bad in the summertime.
Yeah, for sure.
How often do you get back to the States?
I don't know, maybe twice a year. I guess it's been a little bit more now that we have Winnie to visit the grandparents and stuff.
Yeah, sure. So tell me a little bit about your work, 'cause I'm fascinated. I used to be a commercial scuba diver. I was swimming around in the Pacific Northwest harvesting seafood, specifically
Oh, cool, okay.
green sea urchins. But you're an expert on coral, right?
Yeah, so for my dissertation, I was studying the impacts of increased carbon dioxide and how that affects seawater chemistry.
Right.
Specifically, it can make it more acidic, and that can have problems for corals' growth. Because corals are made out of calcium carbonate, which struggle under acidic environments. So, yeah, I got to do a lot of scuba diving in Bermuda. Lovely. Which was fun.
So how does the state of global warming that your president is skeptical about, how does that affect the natural life underwater here in the tropics?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how political you want to get on this front.
No, I'm just interested.
I can't say, I mean, anyone, I don't like the term believing in climate change, because I don't think climate change is something to believe in. It's not like Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. You don't need faith to believe in it. They're facts. Yeah. So I like to say you either understand it or you don't.
Yes.
And our president does not understand it. But yeah, so a lot of atmospheric carbon dioxide gets absorbed into surface waters of the ocean, and that can change the seawater chemistry in such a way that it makes it harder for corals to grow.
Right.
So
have you seen that?
Yes.
As you've been studying?
Yeah. So you see slower growth rates. You can even see some areas where you see dissolution, where corals are actually dissolving.
Really?
Yeah. So.
And there's not a uniform acidity across the whole ocean. It varies?
No, it varies. Because it's also dependent on temperature. It's dependent on the coral environment in that area. Dependent on a lot of things.
Right.
So it varies naturally. But areas like Bermuda that are sort of closer to the threshold naturally will see changes as a result of anthropogenic climate change before areas like Barbados, which are further away from that threshold.
I see.
So that's why I was studying there. This is the last hill.
Yeah. What's your tricks for running hills?
Go slow.
Shorter steps?
I
slower
guess.
pace?
I mean, I don't pay that much attention to it. You just go. Got some friends. Boop. We're almost there. Sorry.
I'd love to be able to talk.
No, it's okay. Sorry about that. Maybe this wasn't the best course. The rest part will be downhill. We'll go left. Morning.
Morning. So you were a bit of a surprise at Badwater, right?
I don't know. I ran it in 2014, was my first year. But that year, and I was the first female, but I didn't run very well. And it wasn't on the original course. That was the year that there had been some, policy issues with the national park system. So the race director had to change the course. So I went back in 2015 because I wanted to run the original course. I ran horribly. And it was probably one of my most disappointing races that I've run.
So what went wrong?
Everything.
So what does that mean?
I think physically I wasn't where I wanted to be. I'd been injured going into it, so I hadn't quite had the training I wanted. And then mentally, I just wasn't in the right place. I think, looking back on it, I think I could have finished that race and come in second. But when the second place woman passed me, I just deteriorated. I fell apart.
So how much of it's mental?
Oh, like 98%.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
So I was pretty devastated about that, and sort of fueled me for 2016 to try again. And I was able to finish, so.
So what are you doing in the States next week?
So I'm trying to qualify for the 24-hour national team. So I was on the team in 2015, but I didn't quite have the race I wanted. And then I was about 3 weeks away from trying to qualify for the 2017 team when I found out I was pregnant.
Oh.
We'll turn left. So I didn't race. And
Morning.
My daughter was born about a month before the 2017 World Championships. So I'm trying to qualify for the 2019 team.
So what do you have to do to qualify?
Oh God, it's really hard this year. They've changed the qualifying window in such a way that has made it harder. So I'll need to run like 152 at least to qualify.
Jesus.
Yeah. So.
One of my biggest questions about ultra marathons is how the hell you stay awake for that length of time.
5-hour energy. Well, anyone who asks himself that should have a newborn.
Yeah.
Because it's very similar. Yeah, I mean, you're just on adrenaline. Like, you definitely have highs and lows, but you know, it's the same thing that keeps you awake. You know, those nights when your baby won't sleep or something.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been doing that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And do you have rests during the race?
No.
Or you just keep going?
I just keep going. If I want to run 152, I have to keep going.
So the aid station you get to, you just grab something and keep moving?
Yep. So my husband crews me.
Right.
And he knows I don't like to stop. So he always has water bottles or whatever I need ready for me. And he'll just hand it off. I'll drop my old ones. And I get to keep going.
And do you have any particular post-race recovery protocols you go through? Like ice baths or?
I mean, I should, but I don't really. Like I said, I don't race that frequently, so every time I do, I sort of forget what I've done the last time. But
that's amazing.
Yeah. Compression wear helps a little bit, I find.
Right.
Ice bath would be epic if I can get myself into one.
Yeah.
You know, in Bathsheba here where I live, they have the tide pools. Have you been to those
Yes,
yet?
yeah, I was in one on Saturday actually.
So I find those are the best.
Right.
This warm salt water is just unbelievable for sore muscles.
Well,
So-
you definitely earn it with your mileage, that's for certain. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, really incredible. And Yeah, when you finished Badwater, people weren't expecting you to come and be the first finisher because there's a lot of competition from people are almost pro.
I mean, I was the first female. I think I was like 5th overall.
Right.
So I didn't. Yeah, I think. Badwater is one of those races that almost all of the top runners who have finished Badwater have also DNF'd it at one point in their career.
Yeah, I guess that's.
So, with a race like that, there's just such extremes. But we'll take a left up here at the stop.
Now, does running hills really help?
That's a good question. I found it helped for Badwater. Badwater has a couple of mountain climbs that are like, 7-10 miles long. But, and there's obviously nothing like that here. Our longest hill is maybe 2 miles, but,
right.
You get hills of like 27% gradient here.
Yeah.
So I remember in Badwater, I know I'm not very good at running downhill, and about mile 40 is the top of the first mile mountain climb, and
right.
there was another woman right behind me, and we started going down, and I just kept telling myself, okay, she'll pass you on the downhill. Don't worry about it. Don't freak out. There's plenty of miles left. You can catch her. And then I saw this sign warning the trucks of the 8% gradient, and I just started laughing because my husband and I don't even bother talking about the hills unless they're over 10%. So it really gave me confidence that I could actually run down that hill at a good pace. So. Well,
you're running hills presumably every day that you train here. There's no such thing as a flat 20-mile run here.
No, unfortunately there's not. I mean, I try and do a tempo run once a week, and I'll do that going back and forth along this 5.5-mile stretch of road along the coast.
Yeah.
But to get to that, I got to climb. And
yeah. What's a tempo run for you? Is what kind of pace?
I usually do my tempo run after my long run, the day after my long run. So I'm lucky if I can go between 8 and 8:20. I do about 25 miles. But
that's extremely impressive, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, it sort of depends on the day, I sort of just try and pick a pace that feels right for that day. I'd rather be able to finish the run than.
And do you speed up and slow down? Do you just pick a pace and then run it fast?
No, I pick a pace, sort of figure out what that pace is going to be, and then stick with that as best I can.
This is just amazing. I'm really glad we came up here.
Yeah, it's pretty up here, huh?
I never would have obviously found this.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Barbados isn't blessed with the trails I thought it would be.
There actually is a decent network over here on the East Coast. My husband knows them from mountain biking. But
wow, look at that.
Yeah.
And that's Beth Shibbo where you live?
Yeah, that's Beth Shibbo.
Down there. So I've got these new microphones. I've never used them before, so I'm hoping they'll filter out a bit of the wind noise.
Okay, yeah. It's a little bit windier today than I was expecting. Yesterday might have been better.
You did a long run or fast run yesterday, was it?
Yeah, I actually didn't go quite as far as I wanted to because my Winnie didn't have such a great night, so I didn't quite get out the door as early as I wanted to. But
so what do you think? What about the future of your running future? You'll carry on doing this as long as you can, presumably. But
yeah, I hope I'll always have a chance to run. I love running. Racing. We'll see. I do enjoy it, but it also takes a lot out of me, just in terms of time and mental preparation and stuff. And,
sure.
So I don't want to spend all my time training. I'd like, going for just a 15-mile run or whatever in the morning, and then being able to spend the day surfing and hanging out with Winnie and Teddy and stuff. But, Saturday mornings I leave the house at 2 a.m. and I'm not back till noon. It's a rough.
That's incredible.
A rough weekend. So
you've done a full day's hard labour, just as everybody else is sort of getting going.
Yeah. Well,
that's incredible.
So yeah. I would love to be able to make the 24-hour team. I think it's going to be a tall order, but we'll see.
Now, being in a team, what does that mean?
So I guess. The team consists of 6 members and
3 men, 3 women.
No, I'm sorry, 6 men, 6 women, 6 men.
Right.
And the top 3 sort of a score. So what you do is you add up the distances of your top 3 finishers, and the country with the most amount of miles wins.
So you've got to do 150 to get in the team, and then how many do you think? And where will we actually be racing, or is that?
The race is in France.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, in October. So.
Wow. And how much support do they provide you, or do you have to sort of bankroll all that yourself?
A lot of it you end up doing yourself.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little frustrating.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that might deter me from going, but I would love to be able to qualify. Like I said, I mean, I was, trying to qualify in 2017 when I found out I was pregnant, so to be able to make the 2019 team would sort of be a nice, sort of come full circle.
Yeah, of course, that's...
we'll see.
I'm just amazed. I can't get my head around that whole thing. I mean, obviously I'm no stranger to running, but those kind of distances are incredible. I follow a woman on Instagram and her blog called categorised, who's a heavily tattooed American who lives on the West Coast.
Oh, yeah, I know. She's run Badwater.
Yeah, she's done over 100-mile races.
Yeah.
And she's got a running streak going as well. She's about a year behind me. But I think it would just upset the balance. Like, my thing is small and often.
Yeah, sure.
But
I mean, everyone finds their own groove, right? Like,
yeah.
And I think that's the thing with me in running is it's played a different role in my life, in different stages of my life, but it's always been there.
Sure.
I mean, I can't run the same miles I used to run before Winnie now. I can't and I don't want to. I mean, I want to be able to spend time with my family.
Yeah, spending time on your own is lovely, I find, but missing out on things that you can't get back again.
Yeah, so
really isn't worth the trade.
But I've learned how to sort of adapt my training, and running is just sort of taking a different role, like still as important, but just slightly different. So it's nice to always have that consistency.
So people ask me whether I like running or not, and I'm not ever sure how to answer them, because obviously I do a lot, but I don't know whether I like it.
Oh, that's interesting.
And what do you like about it? Because what you do is extremely difficult, and you must have got very used to the pain and suffering that you have to go through.
Yeah.
Is that part of the appeal, breaking through that? I mean, what is it that you like?
I mean, it's so beautiful out here, and it's quiet and peaceful, and time to yourself and time to think. I think that's the other thing about my running is the difference between running and training is when I'm running, I don't necessarily push myself to the point of breaking. I mean, I just run to where I'm comfortable.
Right.
And just stay in that zone. So it's not necessarily painful. And it always feels good to come home in the morning and having felt like you accomplished something, and something that's good for you, both mentally and physically. And
well, I always say that running gives more than it takes.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering whether that can be expanded out to running further gives more. I don't know.
I think it depends on the person. Like, it's not like I just woke up one morning and started running 20, 30, 40, 50 miles. Like, I mean, when I was in Fiji, I was only running 8 or 10 miles a day, 6 days a week. That was what I was doing. So at that point, like, that was enough. And then when I came back to the States and I started grad school, and I was in Rhode Island, I was doing a master's, and I was just so devastated to be in the cold again. And, running was just a way to get outside. So I started running twice a day, that it sort of morphed into becoming this opportunity to just spend some time outside. And then, like I said, when I started my doctorate in Miami, it became this great way to deal with stress at school. And I had a couple tough semesters and just started bumping up the mileage. And, the Miami weather is obviously a lot more conducive to long miles than the winters in Rhode Island. So,
have you had any injuries in your career?
So since Winnie was born, I've had my hip displaced twice.
Wow.
But I think that's a very common postpartum thing. And
you can't run when you're in pain with your hips, can you?
So the first time it happened, I didn't know what happened.
Right.
So I just, tried resting, and it wasn't getting better, and I was getting very frustrated.
Yeah.
And then went to this wonderful osteopath here who knew exactly what had happened And just, you know, as soon as he snaps you back into place, you're totally fine again.
Wow.
So
At least you know what it is for the next time.
yeah. So when it happened the second time, I knew what it was. But he wasn't quite able to get it in right. So it actually took a little bit longer to recover than I was hoping.
Do you find it extremely frustrating to be not running for
God.
days?
Yeah. Ask my husband, I'm miserable. Yeah. I mean, you know, when I couldn't run as much when I was pregnant, I started swimming a lot, which was fun. But there's no replacement for running. So
do you think you've just got an unusual amount of energy that you've got to get out somewhere? Because obviously you work hard, you've studied extremely hard, you run hard. I'm sure you were swimming hard.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. I don't know if it's more energy or just, I like feeling productive, like I'm doing something. And, you know, being out here makes me feel like I'm doing something.
But you probably spend a quarter of your life running, which is amazing.
I don't know.
I spend like probably a 30th of my life running, which is still quite a lot. I was going to ask you about the gear that you use. Are you dedicated to a particular pair of shoes that you found that...
I've been running in Mizuno's.
Right.
I was sponsored by Pearl Izumi for a little while, so I ran in their shoes because I could get them for free. But
That's always
they
a good
stopped
reason.
making running shoes, so so yeah, I mean, I have a neutral foot, so I don't need anything special. I like a heavy running shoe as opposed to a lot of people who like the lighter kind.
Really?
Because I put a ton of miles on my shoes.
Yeah.
So I need something that's going to be able to withstand that.
So how long do your shoes last typically? Like 3 months or something?
I put about 2,000 miles on my shoes before I replace them.
Yeah, but in your case, that's only about 10 weeks, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, I can't get shoes. I can't get them here.
Right.
So I have to wait till I'm going to the States. And don't tell immigration that though. So yeah, so sometimes I put more miles on my shoes than I want. But no, I'm pretty low key. I mean, I've got duct tape holding my water bottle to my hand right now.
That's what I love about runners. Like cycling is full of people who spend
about
loads of
it.
money on gear and all
Oh my
that.
God.
But-
We have 3 bicycles in my kitchen, trust me, I know.
But running somehow purer than that. Like,
Yeah, you know, I mean, I started with the duct tape because when I started racing and I just had my husband crewing me, and since I do refuse to stop, I was like chucking empty water bottles on the ground and he was having to run back to pick them up, and we'd inevitably lose some. And I don't, you know, those hand straps aren't cheap and I don't want to go losing those. So I just started with the duct tape and haven't
well, I
stopped.
think that's an excellent compromise. So is the surf going to be up today? Is your husband off surfing later?
Yeah, there's a north swell coming in. So he was out last night. And
Well, what a lovely lifestyle you have, really.
we're very happy here, yeah. It's
And
nice.
do you live right on the water?
Just up the hill. Yeah, just up the hill. So
You must get some serious weather coming in on this side, right?
yeah, we do. You know, it's breezy. We're on the windward side, so the winds can pick up, but we got a lot less flooding and stuff than you guys do on the west.
Right. Yes, it's a beautiful island. I like it. I wish the running was a little bit better. I'm going to have to join a running group next time I'm here. And
I can put you in touch with some people if you're interested. I mean, there's some great places to run here. Where do you guys stay?
well, normally around Town on the west coast.
Okay, yeah, so just head north. Yeah, I can put you in touch with a few people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's, most of what I do, I'm sure you're the same. Whenever I go anywhere, or we moved house, and one of the first questions I asked was, "What's the running like?"
Yeah, you know, it's one of the things I love about traveling is being able to run in a new country. I feel like, you know, you get to sort of explore an area in a different way than most people get to. It's one of my favorite things.
This has been an extremely pleasurable run. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
did I
coming
get
out.
the distance right? How'd we do?
Yeah, perfect. We're at 3:20. This is the bottom of the hills down here, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe my wife will be here, or she'll be down at the beach. Either way, it's fine. Oh, she's here. It was fascinating. There's about a million other questions I could ask you, but you must get bored of answering
I'm
the same ones all over.
happy to do this, honest. Thanks for inviting me along.
I shall follow your exploits with great interest. And I'll put a link on this somewhere to your website so
Sure,
people can
yeah.
read about you as well.
Yeah.
But best of luck with the qualifications. When's the actual qualifying?
It's the weekend of the 19th,
Oh, okay.
18th and 19th.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So.
I'll be at a party in Sweden that weekend, but I will think of you, I promise.
Have a beer for me.
Yes, I will. Let's run down to the junction.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
thank
I
you.
even started my Garmin this time, which I've never done
Oh,
any
there
of
you
these
go.
runs before.
Thank you.
Alyson, it's been
Yeah.
fantastic. What a pleasure, what a privilege to run with somebody who runs as far as you.
Morning.
Morning.
Yeah, happy to, honestly. Really happy to.
Well, yeah, and good luck in the States.
Thanks.
And good luck in your next race. And I'm keen to run with you again next time I'm here.
Yeah, give a shout. We'll be here.
Look forward to it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.